Hi guys, welcome back. Realme C2 has been launched in India and it's available for purchase from Flipkart through flash sale. The pricing on the box is 8,999 Indian rupees for the top variant, but it's selling for 7,999 Indian rupees. Then there is a base variant which is priced at 5,999 Indian rupees. But it just has 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage, while this one, which we have here, has 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage. The box that the phone comes in feels much better than the ones we usually see with budget phones, and on opening the box, the first thing is this envelope which says, "Hey, welcome to the Realme family." This has the documentations, which are information about the phone, and then there is also a SIM ejector tool. And after that, you can see the phone which is neatly wrapped in plastic. Let's keep the phone aside and check the rest of the contents in the box, which is the charging brick, which is a big one considering it's just a 5V 2A charger. And the final thing is the charging cable, which is a micro USB charging cable, and I don't have complaints about that since it's a very budget oriented phone. So that's all about the contents in the box, and here we have the phone. The phone actually feels very solid and I'm really impressed by this rare plastic section. This one is the diamond black color variant. It has this unique pattern on the back and it's a matte finish plastic, and it also has this texture so that it makes this sound. One cool thing about this plastic is that it doesn't attract much fingerprints, but as a downside, it's a bit slippery. Still, it looks very unique and I'm liking it. Then as you can see, there is this Realme branding on the bottom left side. And on the top, there is a dual camera system with a flash, and the camera module, it protrudes out just a bit. On the front, one of the good thing is that by default they have installed a screen protector, and I'm not gonna peel it off. This display is a 6.1-inch HD plus display, and it has this tiny notch which is a dewdrop notch, and this display has the modern design which is the display extending to the edges, and hence the bezels are really small. And the aspect ratio of this display is 19.5:9. On the bottom of the phone is the single firing speaker, which is for some reason on the left side, and then there is the micro USB charging port, single microphone, and also the headphone jack. The power button is on the right side of the phone, which is made of plastic, and the volume buttons are on the left side. These buttons feel moderately tactile. And the final thing is the SIM tray, which is not a hybrid SIM tray, and that's a good thing. This tray will take 2 nano SIMs and also a micro SD card. So that's all for the overview of the phone, and now let's power it on, and while doing so, there is a strong vibration letting you know that the phone is booting up. The setup process of the phone is pretty straightforward, and the only thing that was different is this, which is the face and password setup screen, because there is no fingerprint scanner on this phone, and hence you have to rely either on passcode unlock or face unlock. And after setting it, there are a couple of minor stuff like do you want to set the device as a new one or not, and finally you can see the welcome screen of ColorOS 6, and on clicking the start experience option, you'll be taken to the home screen. The first thing I checked here is the speed of face unlock, and surprisingly it works really well with great speed and accuracy. If security matters to you a lot, it's better not to use face unlock. I did check the software version and it's Android 9 Pie, and also out of the box, the storage available without installing or uninstalling anything is 21.3 GB. This is the 32 GB variant, and it just has this much of space for usage, and if you get the 16 GB variant, then probably you'll be getting around 7 GB of space. Now the reason why I said that I checked the storage before installing apps is because there is a lot of bloatware installed, but luckily you can uninstall them. The phone has an ambient light sensor, which is a good thing, and the display, it looks pretty neat even though it's a LCD panel. The viewing angles are good and the color saturation is fairly decent. The display also gets bright enough so that the outdoor visibility is good, and the display glass used here, which is under the screen guard, is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. The phone out of the box feels pretty smooth and there isn't any lag or hiccup while scrolling, and hence I did install Geekbench and ran it to check the scores, and the Geekbench score for this processor, which is a MediaTek P22, is not good. This processor is an octa-core processor in which 4 cores are clocked at 2 GHz and the other 4 are clocked at 1.50 GHz. These cores are just for reference, and what really matters is how well the phone performs during day-to-day use, and for that, out of the box with some apps installed, it's performing fine. Everything is smooth and the experience is good. But if you're planning to play heavy games, then it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. PUBG works fine and is playable with this graphic setting. You can play the game without issues even though the loading time is on the higher side. But when I switched to Asphalt 9, the gameplay was really bad. There is this lag and choppiness which actually spoils the whole gaming experience for Asphalt 9. So like I said, this phone is not an ideal one if you're planning to play a lot of games with it. But that was expected, and actually what's hyped about this phone for this price is actually the cameras. On the rear, there are two cameras in which the primary sensor is 13 megapixel and the secondary sensor, which is used for taking portrait shots, is 2 megapixels. The main camera has f2.2 aperture and the shots that it captures looks pretty good considering the price. The colors look neat and the detailing is also good. Portrait shots are a bit tough to get right, but they also look decent. The front camera is a 5 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture, and for a shot taken with the 5 megapixel camera, the selfies look fairly decent. There is a lot of smoothing done, but still for a phone whose price starts at 6,000 Indian rupees, the photos from these cameras are more than good. And the camera also has good shutter speed. Another attracting factor of this phone is that it has a 4000 mAh battery, and since it's not a very power hungry display, I think the battery life is going to be great with this phone. And finally, the single bottom fairing speaker is a good one which gets decently loud and is clear, but it's a very easy one to muffle. So that's all for the initial review of the Realme C2. And what I feel is that the version that's priced for 6,000 Indian rupees is a very attractive offering. The problem with that is the low RAM and storage, and this one, which has better RAM and storage, is actually falling in the price territory of Galaxy A10, Redmi 7, etc. And therefore this phone has stiff competition. But this phone is a very interesting offering which has a very unique design and it feels solidly built. Then my initial impression about the camera, battery and normal day-to-day use is pretty positive. But still, I need to use it more before giving a final verdict. That's all for this video guys. Hope you liked it. If so, please do hit the like button and please do subscribe so that you won't miss the full review. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.